Hey y'all, welcome to another story time. As you can see by the title, I will be talking about how we kicked our roommate out freshman year. Let me start off by saying that freshman year was a mess. And I will probably do a whole story time in the future about how freshman year as a whole was a hot mess. It was a trying time. I tell you. Going into college, I had no clue what I was getting myself into, but it wasn't anything like how I expected it to be. I think my freshman year could be a whole movie because it was terrible. It could be, honestly, I should be a playwright because I could write a whole movie about freshman year. But anyways, let's get to the story about how we kicked our roommate out. So I lived in the dorm, of course, and I lived in a unit that was called a triple, which means there was 3 of us in one room. It was a regular sized dorm room, but they squeezed 3 whole beds in there, 3 whole dressers, and 1 bathroom. Luckily, I lived in one of the newer, nicer dorms because I would have been not happy living in an older, not nice dorm with 3 people, but only the newer, nicer dorms were allowed to do 3 people. So in my mind, I felt like it was give and take, like 3 people in a nice dorm or 2 people in one of the older, not so nice dorms with rats. I prefer the nice dorm because I'm bougie. But anyway, so before I got assigned, like before I moved into ODU, into the dorm, we knew who our roommates were before moving in. I think we had to look everyone up, and I think we found each other on Instagram, and that's how we connected. So my roommates were Sierra and Morgan. We messaged and connected before moving day, and you know, we just kind of like gotten to know each other beforehand. And I remember like little things like letting them know that I like to sleep with the TV on. I don't anymore. I hate sleeping with like an actual TV on now. And just different things like that we let each other know, and everyone was cool with it. They were like, yeah, that's fine. I think Sierra was like, I do too, but I'm not sure. But they were cool with it regardless. I was last to move in, so I was last to choose my bed, which was so upsetting. I would have gotten there first if I could have, but the way move-in day worked at the school I went to, you kind of, you get assigned a time frame for when you could come move in. So I got there, I was okay with where my bed was, but again, like I just was being, you know, would have liked to choose. But that was like probably the first sign that it was gonna be a bad year. Probably was. But anyways, I think I had a pretty good move-in day. The only thing that was like not good was saying bye to my parents and my sister. I think my sister was there. I don't remember, but just saying, I think my sister was there because my sister was already at that school. So just saying bye to my parents then was sad, but I think like I was okay because I knew my sister was there, and I also came with a boyfriend. But yeah, it was good. Moving day was great. We moved in, got settled in. We went and walked to get dinner together that first day, our roommates, and I think like there was some sort of like welcome ceremony the next day or something that we walked together to. Everything was fine and dandy until it wasn't. I feel like that's how all my story times go. Everything was perfect until it wasn't. The first offense of why this girl got kicked out. And let me just say, before we moved in, me and Sierra were talking, I think in the group, but it had been established that Sierra and I loved reality TV shows such as Dance Moms at the time and Bad Girls Club. So when we got to ODU, we would watch those shows together. We had to plug in our laptop to watch the shows. And we would watch it, Bad Girls Club, I think every Tuesday night. If I have that night wrong, y'all let me know, but I'm pretty sure it came on every Tuesday night, and we would plug in our laptop and it was a thing, right? First offense. Me and Sierra would be watching Bad Girls Club, the new episode that dropped every Tuesday night. We would be watching it, eating our little snacks, drinking our little drinks, having a good old time. And Morgan would be sitting in her bed and get on the phone talking loud as heck. And I know that sounds little, but she knew. I think it's just like a consideration thing. Like, if I knew my roommates liked a show and they wanted to watch it every Tuesday night, I would not get on the phone every Tuesday night talking loud. I would either watch it with them, watch my own show with my headphones in on my computer, or do something else, or leave the room to go talk on the phone instead of interrupting their show. And it wasn't like it was just one time she did that and it was like, oh, whatever, like, I guess it was an important call, whatever. It was almost every time we tried to watch the show, she would get on the phone. I don't know if she was doing it out of like jealousy or if she was just being trifling, but it's like, girl, this is Bad Girls Club. This is Tuesday night. You should know by now. Leave the room or get off the phone. Like, people just, like, one thing I will say about college is you really learn that people are not raised like you, and people are just not like you in general. That is one of the main things I learned going into college, was that in high school, it seems like you're all so similar. You're all, most of the time, for the most part, raised similarly, because you don't know people that well. Like, you see them at school, you probably hang out outside of school a little bit, but you're not in each other's homes 24/7 living together with these people. In college, you're with these people constantly, especially if you're roommates, and you really learn, wow, there are people in this world that are trifling, at least to me and my standards. And I ain't perfect, but to me and my standards. All right. So anyways, that was the first offense, and that's the first way we knew that she was gonna be trifling. These aren't their real names, by the way. I honestly can't even remember Morgan's real name, but I'll just call her Morgan. It wasn't even like we were trying to exclude Morgan intentionally. It was just that she was purposely excluding herself and being trifling. Second offense. Sierra, rightfully so, liked for the room to smell nice. So she had these plug-in air fresheners that she would plug in near the bathroom. Okay, here's the door to get into the dorm. And then to the left, there's like a sink and a countertop and a mirror. And then there's a door to get into the toilet and the shower. But the sink was on the outside of that. Like, the sink, toilet, and shower wasn't in one room like how bathrooms are normally set up. The sink was on the outside. Which is nice because, you know, like, what if a roommate is in the shower and you want to brush your teeth, or a roommate's in the shower and you want to do your makeup? Like, it was nice for that reason. She would have her plugged in right there at the sink, mirror, countertop area. Morgan would blow dry her hair before class every morning. Fine, nobody had a problem with that. But she would unplug the plug-in, and when she got done blow drying her hair, she would not plug it back in. That's fine once or twice, you know, people forget, people are in a rush before school, you know, it's cool. Sierra literally like texted her one time and was like, can you please plug in the plug-in back when you're done using the blow dryer, in our little group chat. I don't remember what Morgan said or if she said anything at all. But at this point, like, Morgan, again, was excluding herself from Sierra and I. None of us came to the school with friends. I came knowing that my sister was already there and with a boyfriend, but none of us came with friends. So we were like thinking that we would like not necessarily be the best of friends or have to do everything together, but like I said, when we first got there, we were all hanging out together, getting dinner together and stuff like that. Morgan was going off on her own without us and without letting us know, out of nowhere at one point. She started to go get lunch on her own. She started to go get dinner on her own. I don't know if she was going on her own or with other people, but she was just doing things without Sierra and I, and without inviting us and without letting us know. And she had the right to do that, but it was just mad weird. So see, Aaron and I just naturally like would bond then, because we would not be like, oh, I'm going to get lunch, bye. But Morgan wouldn't even give us that. She wouldn't even be like, oh, I'm going to get lunch. She would just leave and then come back with food. She would not be like, y'all want to come with me? Do y'all want anything? Nothing. This was her doing from jump. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was because Sierra and I were black. I don't be trying to play the race card. But Sierra and I were black and Morgan was white. And we were not trying to exclude her. She was doing all that on her own. So anyways, she already had an attitude. For what reason, we don't know. But she already was excluding herself, having attitudes, da-da-da-da. So Sierra put in the group chat, can you please plug in the air freshener back when you're done? I really don't know if Morgan responded or not to that. And I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't, because again, at this point, she was already acting funny. We over here discussing it like, what's wrong with Morgan? Why she acting funny? Is she doing all these weird things? Talking while we watching the show together, not including us when she goes out, which is fine. But anyways, Sierra gets a sticky note and writes on the sticky note, plug the air freshener back in, or a little plug-in, whatever you guys want to call it. Plug it back in when you're done, and sticks it on to the outlet by the bathroom. We go off on our day, go to classes and whatnot. We didn't have the same classes. None of us did. But we would go off and do our own thing. When Sierra and I get back to the dorm, we see that the sticky note is crumbled up and gone. Thrown away in the trash. Sierra did not like that. Sierra did not like that. She was hot. So one day, I don't remember how much later this happened, but one day we all like, we need to have a talk. We need to have a talk. So we're all sitting in the room. Everyone's on their respective bed. Sierra gets to talking about the things that Morgan's doing. Okay, let's say Sierra's bed is right here. My bed's right here in the middle, and Morgan's bed is right here. So Sierra and Morgan are like across from each other, and I'm right here in the back. They're the ones talking to each other during this little talk, roommate talk. They're talking to each other about everything that's been going on, about the plug-in and stuff like that. Tensions start to get high. Voices start to get elevated. Next thing I know, as if we're on an episode of Bad Girls Club, which I love. So I was here for it. But internally, I was shaking because I was like, oh, shoot, it's going down. Next thing I know, Sierra gets hot. She gets hot. She jumps up out her bed. You know how them dorm beds be up high? Sis jumps up out the bed, gets in the middle of the floor, and starts clapping darn near in Morgan's face. That's how heated she was. Honest to God, y'all, I don't remember what talk. It probably was about the fresheners. I don't remember what Sierra said or what Morgan said. All I remember is Sierra jumping up out that bed, clapping her hands, yelling up in Morgan's face, and I'm just sitting there like, in my head, I'm like, get her, get her. But in the moment, I'm like, just watching it all unfold. And of course, I'm not like gonna jump in and attack Morgan, because next thing you know, she's gonna be like, Sierra and Chanel attacked me. They were both screaming at me, yelling at my face. I trust that my girl Sierra got this. If she can hold her own, she can hold her own. This is not an episode of Bad Girls Club where people gang up on one person and everyone bullies one person. Sierra knows I got her back, and if things started to get crazy, I would have Sierra's back. But in this moment, it was not needed. You gotta be wise about these things. You gotta be wise. I mean, you know, it was good. It was good. It was cool. All good. I don't know what happened after that. I don't know. I think after that, like, Morgan just shut up and left the room is what I feel like happened to my memory. But it was just wild. So the aftermath is an RA comes into the dorm one day and he's like, hey y'all, talking to me and Sierra. Morgan wasn't there. He's like, hey y'all, basically tells us that Morgan had reported us to him to let him know that, I guess, you know, stuff had been going on. What is going on from our point of view, our side of the story. And we just let him know, like, Morgan has had beef with us from jump for no reason. Like, she randomly just stopped talking to us, stopped inviting us anywhere, purposely, like, being annoying by talking on the phone loud during our shows, like the air freshener thing. I'm sure there were other things, other little things, because I know for a fact it wasn't just that. I'm sure there were other little things that Morgan was doing or saying that I just can't think of, but this is a long time ago, obviously. This was my freshman year. I was like 18, 19. I'm 27 now, so have grace with my memory. But this story will forever stick with me. So we're like, she needs to go. She gotta go. We can't keep living like this. She needs to leave. She's gotta go. We told him, you need to find her a new dorm because she cannot live here no more. She's making our lives miserable. So eventually she moved out. And Sierra and I had the room to ourselves for a while. It was nice to just be me and Sierra in an extra bed for sleepovers or just random stuff, extra space. It was real nice. It was fine and dandy. Until it wasn't. Again, you thought the story was over? It ain't. The story goes on. Months go by and we get a new roommate. We're thinking, okay, it should be good. And you know what? Looking back, I'm realizing good roommates are hard to come by. Remember what I said in the beginning? Not everybody was raised like you. Not everybody's like you. So having a good roommate, and I be hearing like terrible roommate stories, like having a good roommate is hard to come by. So for me to be hopeful, thinking, you know, I'm sad we have a roommate because it's nice to live in a double with just me and Sierra, but this one should be better. New roommate, I got a whole list. Her alarm would go, granted, don't get me wrong, don't get it twisted. I understand that with roommates you have to deal with everyone's alarms going off because we gotta go to class. But new roommate's alarm would go off at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and she would just turn over. First of all, why are you waking up that early? Because the earliest class you can have in college is 8 a.m. So waking up 4 or 5 in the morning doesn't even make any sense. So me and Sierra come to the conclusion that she would wake up that early in case we think that she had like a boyfriend that was in the military or something. Based on like other scenarios, that's what we think was the case. So she would wake up that early just in case he texted or called or something, is what we think was the situation. But it was just mad annoying because her alarm would go off that early every single morning and she would just roll right back over. Can you imagine? Imagine having an 8 a.m. knowing you're gonna wake up at 7, but you wake up at 4 or 5 and have trouble going back to sleep. Can you imagine? Strike one. Strike two. I need a name for this girl, first of all. Amy. We're gonna call her Amy. The name for this new roommate is Amy. Sorry, it's shaking. As soon as Amy moved in, we had a conversation with me in my bed, Sierra in her bed, and Amy in her new bed, and the RA came in. And we discussed like rotations, who would buy what when. We discussed the toilet paper rotation. I think I was first in terms of this new roommate schedule. I was first to buy toilet paper for the whole entire dorm room for all three of us. Sierra was second, and then Amy was third. And it was all great and dandy. I bought the toilet paper first. When it ran out, Sierra bought some second. When it came time for Amy to buy toilet paper, She did not buy any. And we gave her a reminder, like, hey, Amy, in the text, the group roommate text, hey, Amy, it's your turn to buy toilet paper. And I think she said something like, okay, or whatever. The toilet paper never came. She never bought any, ever. For the entire duration of our stay, Amy never bought a single sheet of toilet paper. Never came from her. So it got to the point where me and Sierra would take turns going back and forth, and we would literally hide the toilet paper. I'm pretty sure, like, I think we would put the toilet paper like under the bed in one of those bins that we had kept locked up, and take it out when we're ready to use it, and bring it to the bathroom with us and bring it back out. That's what we had to do, because we were like, it's not fair she not contribute, not financially nor physically, with the toilet paper. You're probably thinking, oh, well, I'm sure Amy did the same thing. She probably bought, eventually, once y'all started doing that and hiding the toilet paper, not keeping it in the bathroom, she probably eventually bought her own, would bring it in the bathroom when it was time to use the bathroom, bring it back out when she was done. That sounds logical, right?
Wrong.
Amy would literally get up out of her bed, go use the bathroom, not bring a sheet of toilet paper with her, and come back out. You probably think I'm lying, but I swear on my dog and my dog's friends and my sister's dog and your dog too, that she would literally go into the bathroom without the toilet paper being in the bathroom and without bringing her own in the bathroom. Every time. So at this point, that must be, like, looking back, that must be why she won't press to buy any, because she don't use it. She legitimately did not use toilet paper. Oh my God. But, like, how are you so confident with letting us know that you don't use toilet paper? Like, if I was her, if I was nasty and dirty and didn't use toilet paper, which, you know, other countries think I'm dirty because I use toilet paper instead of like a bidet or whatever. So if I was in her shoes and I was dirty and nasty and didn't use toilet paper, you think I'm gonna let my roommates know that? I'm gonna still buy the toilet paper and act like when I go to the bathroom I'm using toilet paper? No, she didn't have no shame. She didn't have no shame. And that wasn't the only way she was dirty. She was dirty. She was messy. She had a whole bunch of junk, which we thought that she was gonna like organize or get rid of, like, once she got settled. There was just a big pile of junk sitting in our little hallway area right across from the sink of hers that just sat there for the whole second half of the school year, semester, whatever. This whole second half of the school year just sat there, a whole bunch of her junk. She would take her shorts off and get undressed at the end of the day and just throw it on that pile. Literally disgusting. And I don't even want to talk about what I've seen in her clothes. But you do the math. She didn't use toilet paper. What do you think? And I didn't even try to put her business out there on that or on blast or anything. Nobody knows who she is. I can't even remember her name, even if I wanted to. I have no idea what her name was or the first roommate name was. I'm just stating the facts that this is what we had to deal with. Eventually, the year ended. I can't remember. And I asked Sierra too. I was like, Sierra, did that girl leave too? Or did she make it through to the end of the year? And we don't remember. We think maybe she left too. I have no idea. It's a blur. Freshman year was a hot mess all around in general. But that's the story of my roommate situation freshman year. Sierra, if you're watching this, you know I rock with you. You still cool. We still good. But Amy and Morgan, thanks for tuning in, and stick around for the next story time.